The film begins on the coldest day of the year to the point that the birds were freezing from the frost, and we saw one pregnant woman and she was tired. And she wishes she could keep her fetus in her womb so that it wouldn't come out into the snow they live in. And the lady goes to the big house over the snow. It is called the clock tower. The first thing you get to there, she faints. And a woman comes out inside the house and takes care of her. We know that she is a doctor named Madeline. And the pregnant lady was born and called baby Jack. But waiters discover that Jack's heart is frozen from the stroke. To prevent him from dying, change his heart and put a strong watch in its place. She says that in order to live, he must abide by 3 rules, the first of which is that he does not play with the clock, and the second rule is that he stay away from anger and joy that is too much. The third rule, and the most important of them, is not to love anyone in his life, because if the clock happened, it would be destroyed and then surpass Jack and Madeline. She hopes that if it was her son, and at night, Jack's mother would notice that Madeline would have a better mother than her. Until he comes on Jack's 10th birthday, and he is very excited about it and goes to Madeline and asks her to keep her promise and take him out to see the city, but she is busy with her friends Anna and Luna, but she repairs the pole she put for Arthur. It became rusted because of his walking in the rain, but after I noticed that Jack was upset, she decided to keep her promise. But before you went out, I reminded him of the 3 rules that you almost tell him every day, and he kept them as his name. But despite that, all the way in the city, she was afraid for Jack, and every time he saw something he liked, she pulled out the speaker and heard the sound of his heartbeat, until Jack caught his eye the sound of music coming from afar. And when Madeline focused with the voice, she did not see Jack in front of her. Because Jack had gone behind the sound and saw a beautiful girl singing on the piano. At the time, Jack fell in love with her at first sight and went to sing with her. And he knew that a girl would not see without her freshness, and they sang. The girl banged him and her clothes were stuck in the clock and her dress was cut off. Jack fell unconscious, but waiters arrive quickly, wake him up, and take him home to fix his watch. There, she tells him that she advised him so much that he stays away from emotion and makes sure of him again that if he loves the clock, it will explode and die. But Jack didn't care what she said and took the piece of the dress that had been pinned to his watch from behind Madeline. And while he sleeps, while he dreams of the girl and that she is salvation, she entered his heart. And the second day Jack wakes up, he finds Madeline next to him and tells him that he is a gift for her from heaven, and when she gets annoyed, her heart hurts. But their words are cut off by the arrival of their owners. And they would like to celebrate Jack's birthday instead of the one that was ruined the day before. At that time, she would let them hang out and go out, and Jack would notice the dress that Luna wore because it looked like the dress that the girl who sings wore. And when he asks her where Luna is from, she tells him that this was from the school and she loves him and likes to wear it a lot. Here is what I hesitate. He went to Madeline and asked her to go to school to learn and understand the rules that she memorized for him day and night. Although Madeline tried to convince him that home education for him is much better than school. But Jack insisted and Madeline agreed to not upset him. And the second day, Jack arrived at school and preferred to ask all the boys for a girl with them to sing on the piano, but there is no one who replied to him and they all left him and walked. At that time, a strange boy named Joey appeared, and we knew that all the boys at school were afraid of him. He went to Jack and told him that the girl he was looking at was called Acacia. She left the school for a while and no one in the school could say her name because he loved her. And the years came back and Jack did not forget the acacia at that time. Jack remembered Acacia. I sold him the card, and when Joey was going to take the card from him because it was his, and today is his birthday, it is also the card. He told Madeline everything. The police came while they were going up the hill. Madeline asked her owners to ride the tow Jack to get him away from the city, and after she gave him the key to the watch, he had to keep it. If he felt tired looking for a repairman to fix his watch. Then Jack and her friends ran away from the house. She waited for the police. After Jack got on the train, he fell asleep and had nightmares. And Jack woke up tired because of the horror that happened to him from the first day. But at that time, a photographer named George found him and the gears that fell from him, and they took him to his workshop in Paris to try to fix it. There is Jack who told George his story from the day I was born. And the rules that Madeline Maffosa him has the same name. And he told him that despite all that he fell in love against him. George was able to repair Jack's watch and adjust his camera after he installed gears like the one installed in Jack's watch and told Jack that life comes only once and if he remains afraid of terror, he will own him and die, and he must be reckless and adventurous, especially since he is still in his prime. They told him that he would go with him to Acacia. After a time, they arrived at the circus where you work. There, Jack meets a woman who works on the horror train. She thought that he went to work with her, but he told her that he was looking for a girl named Acacia. And before she answered him, Jack heard one say that Acacia's lyrical segment would start and quickly ran over there, he and George, who told him that he had to sit like a king in order to make her love him. But when Jack first heard her voice, his heart broke out. When she finished singing, he went to her room and gave her a set of glasses as a gift and asked her to meet and talk. And when she asked him about his place of work in the circus, he told her that he worked on the train of terror. And she's going to go there for him. Then Jack ran to the horror train official and told her that he accepted the job and would work with her. As for George, he saw a girl with 2 heads and decided to sit with her in the circus. And the second day Acacia went to Jack and rode the horror train and saw him while he was making his offer. Instead of making people afraid, they all came out happy and laughing. Of course, this is the responsibility of the country. But Jack didn't care about her words. He took Acacia and they started dancing and confessed his love to her. But she told him that he is special to her, but she cannot love him because she loves another one. At the time, Jackie thought that she loved Joey and left her and went to George and sat screaming. And George told him he was stupid, because he did not ask her who her lover. At that time, Jack came back to her and asked her about her lover, and was shocked to learn that she did not love Joey and was in love with another person whom she had only seen once in her life. She does not remember his appearance well because she did not wear glasses, and she told him that when he sang with her, his voice entered her heart and she could not forget him, and here Jack understood that she loved him, but he could not tell her that he was her lover. So he went to George and asked him to help and tell her that he was her lover who turned to him, and that is why the second day when Acacia was looking for Jack the girl, the owner of George, entered the theater and there they presented her with a presentation of the details of what happened on the day she met Jack, and then Jack appeared and gave her the piece of cloth that had been cut from her dress that day. Acacia fainted from shock and Jack took her back to her room after she regained consciousness. He gave her the key to his heart so that she could keep it. He agreed with her that at night after her show, they would leave the circus and run away with each other to a far place, and it was time for the show. Jack packed his bag and told George that he had fulfilled his dream and would stay beside Acacia all the time, but Joey reached them and left no Acacia she was preparing her bag, and when he knew that she had met Jack, she would go with him. He warned her that he was a savage and that he was the cause of the injury in his eye, and that because of her love for him, she would endanger herself if she went with him, because when he was angry, he could not control himself, except that he told her on the 3 rules that Madeline told him. At that time, Jack reached her and she confronted him with the truth she knew and accused him of being selfish because he left her to love him without telling her anything about his truth. Although he tried to understand the truth, she did not hear anything from him. As for Joey, he saw that he was able to take revenge on Jack for what he had done, and in order to complete his revenge on the other, he took Acacia with him while he was going. Jack tired and the gears of his watch came out of it, and after George arrived, he asked him to change. He got the watch and installed a new watch for him and he didn't like me after that, but Georgie said he had to fix it while he found a new watch and was shocked when he found out that Jack gave the key to the watch to Acacia and she went with Joey and to save them he sent it to Madeline. Because she is the only one who can act without it. The key is there at the time Acacia was with Joey and I knew from him that after Jack escaped from the police, Madeline went to prison. A short time later, she died in prison. At that time, Acacia remembered the key to Jack's watch that she had, and quickly left Joey and returned to the circus, but there was George. He told her that Jack was going to Madeline because he was tired, and then Acacia told him that Madeline had died. He wanted to go to him, but Acacia told him that she was acting and gave her his notes. He wrote it himself, from the day before Jack gave her the parts of the watch that Jack had broken. At the time, Acacia migrated to the train station and saw a moving train and also noticed pieces of Jack's watch. Thus I understood that he got on the train and she waited for the next train and got on it. On the way, I read the notes that George had given her and made sure that Jack loved her. As for Jack, he reached his house on the hill, and the first time he entered he fainted. After he woke up, he found Anna, Luna, and Arthur with him in the room, and when he asked them about Madeline, they told him that she had died in prison. The Cold and Acacia arrived with parts, his lost watch and the key, but Jack did not let it occupy his heart again and threw the key away because he felt the happiest moment in his life when she went and saw him because she loved him and was afraid for him, and the movie ended after everything was fixed in its place and Jack knew that this was salvation no longer exist in life. He ascended the sky on a ladder of snow.